C. Okay. And the difference is that we are going to use the other method, which does not require using mapping notation. Well, no, actually, I want to work with the cosine. Let's work with D, okay? Because sine we already discussed. Well, so we're going to work with the question 7D because it's more difficult than this one. The rest you will do on your own. Okay, so we're working with 7D using the second method. So the second method is about analyzing key features of the function, of the transformed function. And I need your help in identifying the key features. Okay, so key features of the transformed function. So what are the key features?
Miss, I have a question about key.
I have a question about key features of the transformed function. What do you remember?
You want the key features?
Yeah, the main characteristics of the
y-intercept.
A equals 4.
Maximum, minimum.
Maximum, minimum.
A equals 4.
What else? Amplitude. Period. And something else. What else is there?
Y-intercept?
No, but axis. The equation of the axis. Yes, in fact it is. So let's remember again, the generic formula of transformation should be in front of your eyes. So in this case, it's a cosine. Leila, what is the formula? The transformations formula. You're not Leila, right? Can you complete this formula?
K, bracket K.
No, cosine, and then K, and then?
XD. Minus D plus C.
And then plus C. So when you look at this equation, please cover your face, and use this one. Okay? And what is an amplitude? What represents the amplitude value in the equation, Farah? Guys, it's worth listening to the question. So the question is, which value which part of this equation represents the amplitude? A. Which value of the equation represents the axis? C. And then what you need to know is the period formula. So the period formula is
360 over 2.
360 over absolute value of K. To be more accurate here, amplitude is also absolute value of A.
That's absolute value.
Okay, so now how to find maximum and minimum if you know C and A? So maximum is when you go vertically up from the axis.
Or down.
How far up is exactly the value of the amplitude?
It's the period. No, it's the
Amplitude. So it means that to get maximum,
A plus C.
C plus A. Absolutely. So following the same logic, how do you find minimum?
C minus A.
C minus A. And again, it's absolute value because we go up or down exactly the amplitude, right? Yes.
It's okay. Is it going to be one of the three?
When you analyze, but when the equation says K, you do not assume anything. You input K value. So for example, in this case, what's the value of K?
It's going to be
2.
3.
Here, K. Sorry, Farah?
3.
3.
Me.
Here. Of course it's 2. Of course it's 2. So if k here is 2, so you input 2 into the equation.
And if it was multiple times, you want to do 2?
In the mapping notation, we just discussed it. It was x over k. You put 2 here, also 2. You flip it only when you describe the transformation. Okay? Okay, let's move on. So this is generally the tips. I recommend that you take all the notes. Okay? So this is, you will always need this understanding when you work with the second method. Now let's do this for our function. Okay? So for our function, which is this one. So what is the axis equation, Amr?
Y equals -3.
Y equals -3. Now, what is the amplitude, Alex?
The amplitude is what is the equation? 4.
4. So, Farah, what's the maximum value given that this is C and this is A?
We're going to do -3 plus 4.
Yes?
So 1.
1 is the maximum. And Layel will tell me what's the minimum. Layel, what's the minimum?
-3 minus 1 is -4.
Is negative what?
7.
Absolute value.
One.
Okay, and finally, Abdurrahman, what about the period of the function?
It's gonna be 360 over 2.
Which is
108.
180 degrees. And to follow up on your question, Farah, if you look at the period, what has happened to the period? Has it got compressed or stretched? Compressed. It used to be 360. It became 180.
Yeah.
It got compressed. And this makes perfect sense because if you think about the factor of transformation, it's 1 over 2. So whenever you multiply something by a fraction less than 1, it will become smaller. Okay. So now let me now get ready with your coordinates plane. Again, first plan and then draw the coordinates plane. Let's think about it. What will guide you? Is there any transformation in terms of the shifts for x?
No.
Is there a phase shift? No, because d is 0. What can you say then about x values? Are they going to be positive or negative? Positive. What about y values? What is the maximum, the most positive value?
1 and
1, and the most negative is -7. It means that which quadrants of the coordinates plane do you need?
1 and 4.
1 and 4. Which one is bigger?
4.
4, absolutely. Okay, so based on this plan,
Which one we need -7?
because this is the minimum, which we figured out that there is a minimum, right?
Yes.
Okay, so please get ready with your coordinates plane where you have the first and the fourth quadrant, and the fourth quadrant is bigger.
Rotation is so much easier.
Mapping notation, I always say that for someone who doesn't understand, go for mapping notation. If you want to become more advanced, it will be faster, but it requires like understanding, okay? So you try, don't give up right away. You try it first, try it again, and then you will decide, okay? So coordinates plane.
انا اول حد قال لي كده
انا امبارح قعدت معاها قعده حلوه وقلت لها ان هي محتاجه دكتور وكده.
Yusuf, are you ready with your coordinates plane? Yusuf?
بتحاول ترديني خلاص
Yusuf, are you ready with your coordinates plane?
I don't think so.
بالظبط.
I think he's lying.
This, you know, Yusuf's real name is Joseph.
So let's label x and y coordinate. Okay, and now I have some recommendations about the order of representing the features on the coordinate plane. Okay. No, the first thing we should go for is the axis. So the axis is going to be the first thing. It really helps you think about the function, okay? So let's sketch the axis y equals -3. And label it. So the requirements stay the same, like all the key features of the function have to be labeled on the graph. Y equals -3 is the axis. Okay. Right, the other important feature, as someone mentioned, is the period. Okay, so the period is 180. So this will come next. Okay, so 180. Again, you remember, guys, in order to understand, okay, where am I going to plot 180? I remember that I need to have 4 identical segments. Okay, so I'll take again as three squares for 1 segment. No! You are free to do whatever you want in your notebook.
Thank you.
So this is 180 degrees. Now, my question is, it's worth now at this point to remember how the parent function looks like. So let's hear.
This why do we have 4? It's just 90 and 180.
Just a second. So let's remember how parent function of cosine looks. So tell me where we're going to start the cosine function. At 0, no. At maximum, or at minimum?
At axis also.
No. This is maximum. Cosine starts, didn't I tell you guys to practice remembering this? Ask someone to wake you up at night and.
Miss, I don't understand what's the line y equals -3.
Just a second. So this is 1. This is the maximum for cosine, and this is -1. Right? So we know that cosine starts at maximum, goes down to minimum, and then it returns back to maximum. So this is how the parent function looks like. Okay. So your question was about what's y equals -3. So in the parent function, Yusuf, where is the axis? Where is the axis in the parent function?
0.
It's exactly this one. It's overlapping with the, right? So the equation, what's the equation of this line? No, value.
Of that line?
Yeah. Y equals 0. Now our function, as you can see, has shifted down by -3. So instead of being here, it's now here. Okay? So, but going back to identifying the x values of the new function. So tell me, please, this point, which is 0, 1, is here on the y-axis. In our function, which we are working with, is there any phase shift or not?
No.
No phase shift. There is no phase shift. That means
We start at y.
absolutely. Therefore, we start or on the y-axis. On the y-axis. Y-axis. And there is no reflection. There is no reflection. It means that we still start at maximum. So it's on the y-axis at maximum.
1.
What is the maximum here? The maximum is 1. So it means that 1 And 0, 1 is our first point. Okay?
Maximum is 1.
Okay? Maximum is 1. And there is no shifts and there is no reflection. So we start at maximum of 1. Now, where is the second point of cosine function? On the axis. So it means that it's going to be somewhere here.
Miss, if you want to be on the 90, it will be on the 45 because it's compressed by half.
Absolutely. So it's worth again remembering that they are 4 identical segments. If there are 4 identical segments, it means that you take 180 and divide by 4. Take 180 and divide by 4 now.
45.
45. So it means that this one is 45 plus 45 is going to be
90.
plus 45,
130.
135
Plus 1.
and 180. So now you know all the x values. Okay?
Why 45?
Why 45? Because Farah, we said that any function, any trigonometric function is consists of 4 identical segments, right? So it means that if I take 180, which is the entire period for this function is the entire period is 180. Then to find the length of one segment, all I have to do is divide by 4, right?
Okay.
And then you just, if you know that the first segment is 45 degrees, you will just keep adding 45, 45, 45, because this is the length of one segment.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on. But based on what we have been discussing so far, Abdurrahman, where is what's the coordinates of the next point?
It's going to be at 45 and then
Negative 3, you mean?
-3, sorry.
So this is the next point. Next point, Farah.
Why don't know anything in life?
Because why -3?
Why negative 3? Abdurrahman, could you explain?
Because it would be -7 at 90x, or when x equals 90, but this, our maximum value is not 360, it's 180. It's compressed. So we have this, the max is 180.
Yes, but please be, this is a bit,
So that's why the
Correct,
graph is
yes.
compressed. It's
Good
not
job.
going to 360.
okay,
Already I have x-axis value. Already is 8. So when it's compressed, we know that 45 is already half.
okay, can I explain it a little bit differently, Farah? Look at the parent function. So you in parent function, you have to always label the key points. So the key points, maximum, axis, minimum, axis, maximum. Agree?
Okay.
So you should follow always the same pattern for cosine. So maximum, axis, and then minimum. Okay. So the next, Alex, based on our discussion, what's the next point after this one?
90.
And what's the y value?
Sorry.
Negative 7.
So dumb. It's not me.
Next point, Yusuf. After 90 and negative 7, what's the next point? Where do I go after the minimum? Layla. I go back where?
135.
And negative 3.
I go back to the axis. So 135 and negative 3. And how do I end up my pattern? Farah, what's the last point?
It's going to be 4.
Sorry?
It's going to be
181, absolutely. Because the last point for cosine is also maximum. So maximum, axis, minimum, axis, maximum. So, and now you're ready to sketch. Remember, it's please do not draw parabola. Okay? It's not parabola. Here, it's going to be a bit flat. Okay? And then you go down. It's a smooth curve. And then you make it a little bit flat by the last point. Do not draw the parabola. Okay, please complete your sketch and let me see what you have in your notebooks. Any questions are most welcome.
Yes, Miss, I have a question.
Where they were.
Miss, I have a question.